Good Friday morning! We made it to Friday, Dale!
We did?
Hey, I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he is looking forward to taking Graham Tate to WWE SmackDown tonight over at the Mullets. Dale Hellestrae's here, everybody.
Well, Stephen.
What time you guys showing up?
You know, what time's it start?
4:30. Well,
that's a preliminary.
5, but yeah.
Yeah.
Be there by 4:30.
Okay. No. No. Even Graham Tate, I was talking to him 2 days ago.
Really? Because I'm picking him up at 3:30.
I said, Graham, what's this about wrestling? He just said, Papa Steve doesn't know what he's talking about.
He goes, Pop, I want to go. That sounds like fun.
So you're doing that instead of going and watching your SCA Eagles at ALA?
Yeah,
instead of watching your Desert Ridge Jaguars or your Queen Creek Bulldogs?
Desert Ridge's last home game tonight.
You're going to be at the Mullet.
Yeah. I can only take so much blowout football, Dale, before I lose my mind.
What time is the ASU game tomorrow?
5 o'clock.
Now, is that amenable to you? Do you like the 5 o'clock?
I love the 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I'll even take a 6 o'clock kick. I love that.
Okay.
Because you still get out at a decent hour. You still have your day ahead of you. In the morning, type of a thing. Those 7:30s where you're getting out of there at 11:15.
Yeah.
Or like I said, the 1 o'clock. You can't do anything before. You can't do anything after. Well, you can if you want to go to bars or whatever. But just a day. It just takes up the whole time.
Now, who all is going with you tomorrow to the ASU game?
The usual. My dad's going. I don't know who else is going. We have 6 tickets total. Basically, I have 3, and then my dad has 1, so he's got 1, and then we have 2 that just roams to other people, family members or whatever. So I don't know who's going with the other 2, but Autumn and Ethan are going tomorrow night. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Should be a good game. Missing their best wide receiver.
Yeah, I know. Somebody's got to step up, right?
And people are just like, things I read, things I hear, people are just like, yeah, it's Houston. Well, they're 7-1.
They're 6-1, right?
Oh, 6.
Oh, yeah,
they've lost one game.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with Houston, and then I watched Houston. I've seen Houston play like 3 times this year, and I watched obviously the Arizona game as well. Houston does not look spectacular,
right?
But at the end of the game, you're like, they just beat us. How they beat us? That's the problem with them. They're just an old school team. They'll put together a 25 play, 90-yard drive of just running the ball down your throat, score a touchdown, and then just run off the field. They're an old school, not this, everybody lines up outside. You have 7 receivers. That's not their offense. So I think that's a lot of why people feel that way about Houston.
It's just, I just get this feeling like, all right, let's get this game over so we can get to the rest of our schedule.
Well, I mean, I know. Hopefully the team isn't overlooking them.
And missing arguably your best player.
He is your best player. He is 99% of the offense if you see the offensive stats.
Right.
I was looking at him yesterday, and it's like Jordan Tyson's like here for like receptions, yards, whatever.
Right.
The next receiver's like underneath the desk here. It's a huge drop off. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it, how they play call it, and if they couldn't produce stuff in the red zone with Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get some explosive plays that we don't have to get to the red zone. We just score from 50, 60 yards out.
How are special teams going to be? Can you fix things in a week?
I argued about that yesterday. I mean, you're a special team guy.
Right.
Spend a lot of time out there on special teams. Everybody knows my feelings on this. You can't fix major issues in the middle of a season. But you can improve them. So the way I'm thinking about it is, let's just say ASU with their practice this week, their focus on the punting, etc. Let's just say it's 20% better than it was last week. It's going to be an improvement. So instead of having a 40-yard return to the 12-yard line, maybe they only return it to the 30-yard or 12-yard line. Maybe they only return it to the 30-yard line. maybe they only return it to like the 40-yard line. So that'll be the improvement side of it. That's where your expectations should be set on, quote unquote, is it fixed?
Well, to me, one thing, and I've heard this from now a couple of different people, the fact that you got to get guys on special teams who want to be on special teams. They're going to give effort.
Yeah,
They're going to give 100%.
Special teams is usually your freshmen.
It's
your
usually
young
guys,
sophomore guys
yeah.
that don't play a lot. It's guys that don't start,
But
don't play a lot.
when we were rocking and rolling in Dallas, there are a lot of starters that were on special teams.
Well,
because
it's always been that way.
Because there was an emphasis put on special teams. And so, again, I think you could correct a lot of things just with effort. I don't know.
That's what I'm getting at.
It seemed like guys last week were going about 80%.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, because everybody blames the punter, but I mean, they were if they didn't block the punt, they were close to blocking the punt every time, which that is obviously blocking schemes, etc. Not doing the blocking. And then once the ball was kicked, then it was nobody was in the right coverage spot. You gave them big holes to come out, so it was like twofold, right? But like I said, let's just say they improve it, even if it's 15% improvement. That's going to make it better in terms of, like I said, where they get the ball, where they return the ball to, and stuff like that. Now you'll never know if it's different, but it's not going to be completely fixed. Where now the guy's going to be punting 70 yards and they got perfect coverage and no issues. Like you're not going to see that the rest of the year.
What is it with Kenny Dillingham? He gets everything so buttoned up. Last year couldn't find a kicker.
I brought that up yesterday.
And this year he can't find a punter.
It goes to your point. I brought this up yesterday after you left. Kenny Dillingham doesn't emphasize, and this might be unfair the way I'm going to say it, he doesn't emphasize special teams in the offseason.
Well, the other thing is, think about
they're
this.
Just like, we'll just have special teams will fill in.
Yeah, but here's another thing you got to remember. It's not like you can give out 3 scholarships to 3 different punters and then choose the best one.
But like I said, punter's injured, by the way, if you don't know that. But number one. But number two, punters, if it was just the punter not punting properly,
right,
that would be that issue. It's coverage. It's blocking before the punt gets off. So it's the whole unit.
Right.
That's the problem.
And that's where I think.
Yeah. Last year, it was just the field goal kicker. Yes. Everything else was good, right? It was just
and when you
kickers.
Say just,
the biggest part.
When you're talking field goal kicker, you're talking about points. You're talking about points every time the ball hits his foot.
Yeah. But that's what I mean, though. But they didn't have blocking issues. Guys weren't getting through the line and blocking a ton of or field goals, stuff like that. They were just shanking them. So you can kind of go like, oh, he thought he had the right guy. He didn't, whatever. That happens. But this is like a whole unit thing. So I openly brought that up yesterday. It's like, it's just they're so focused for year 2 now with their offense and their defense and all of that it possibly could be. You see a lot of teams be like this. Special teams, we'll be all right.
There are a lot of teams who give lip service to special. I told you in Dallas, the one thing that Joe Avisano and Jimmy Johnson imparted on our football team is the fact that practice starts and special team starts. Mm-hmm. Number 2, every meeting after a game, the entire team's in there to watch the film.
Yeah, and they started that this week.
And your best players, Darren Woodson, all-pro defensive back, he's on the punt team. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Deion Sanders, he's on a punt return team. We had starting linebackers on kickoff team. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, you go back from 91 to 96 when we were kind of rocking and rolling, we won 1 to 2 games each year because of special teams.
Oh,
whether
absolutely.
It's a kickoff return, a punt return, a
they
forced
call it,
fumble.
They call it the third, third part of your team, the third, whatever they call it, segment or whatever.
Well, they call it offense, defense, special teams. Every 33% for each one of them. But 99% of teams put 45% offense, 45% defense, and 10% special.
Yeah, if 10% if you're lucky. But I mean, like that's old school. Like I talk about this all the time. People are going for it on 4th down now. We talked about that at the Cardinals last week, right? They went for it at the 48-yard line, 4th and 2. They could have flipped that field and made them drive the field 90, 99 yards, whatever it is. Even if it's 80 yards, if it goes in the end zone. You can make them – you have to drive 80 yards to score the touchdown.
Instead of really being in field goal position as soon as you get the ball.
Exactly. And it's like a lost art now. And I just think that. So I lamented on that yesterday after you left, where I was saying, I was just like, he's learning. I'll say he's learning. The problem is he's learning, a year and a half into this, where he's had special team problems last year and then special teams problems this year and things like that. There needs to be an advent focus on special teams going into this offseason.
Just watch Saturday night because you'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes it doesn't come through the TV.
Yes.
Watch their effort on coverage teams.
Last week it was lacking. Yeah. I can tell you that. In person, it was the ball would be coming down and there would just be guys just – I mean, they started off the game where I think it was a punt where the ball bounced off an ASU guy and luckily it went out of bounds, right. And it's just like that stuff can't happen week whatever in the season.
Well, and we always say this, it's a great position to be in learning these things while you're winning games.
That's the thing.
It didn't cost them a game.
Yeah, Cardinals have to figure this out while losing games, right? Yes. So, I mean, that's the positive thing. And the thing, like I said, I'm just so excited. I was listening. I don't have a lot of clips. I don't have any clips on Kenny Dillingham because I feel like everybody's getting tired of me playing them. But, it's just.
Who would get tired of listening to Kenny Dillingham?
I don't know.
Now, man. Jonathan Gannon?
Yeah, I'm just, it makes me depressed because we're listening to Kenny Dillingham because I'm like, this guy gets it. It's got to work out for Kenny Dillingham because if it doesn't, it's no hope for any other coach out there, any other fan base out there for anybody because he's doing it the right way. Yep. I can tell you this. I heard from people that were at practice and cover the practices. Kenny Dillingham was literally lining up, showing guys how to do stuff and no other head coach is doing that. Nick Saban wasn't out there going, all right, guys, this is what I want to see on punt.
Now, I'm going to tell you something.
I knew this was coming. That's why I brought him up.
I've seen some clips where he actually is.
That's the only reason I brought it up. I knew you'd call me out on that. And most coaches aren't doing it, though.
A lot, yeah. Most coaches don't do that, but
John Harbaugh does that for the Ravens, but he was a special teams coach.
The special coaches do things like that. I've seen
attention to detail.
I've seen Nick Saban come up and show a cornerback how to jam a guy.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've actually saw him line up as a defensive lineman and was like, he didn't run the play, but he was showing him, how to do that. So, no, but that's why I brought up Nick Saban, and I kind of said that was just to say, you want to be great? That's the stuff you pay attention to. I mean, you talk all the time on the Cowboys. Say what you want about Jimmy John. He failed in Miami, and all that. But you talk about the attention to details, and you have that added perspective because you went from Hank, whatever you don't
Hank
like
Bullock,
his name,
Hank Bullock,
right? You went from him to a Hall of Famer, Marv Levy, early in his coaching career.
Yep.
But I'm willing to bet you he had standards and he had those attention to details.
Special teams were his number one. Again, when I got to the Buffalo Bills in '85, the running backs coach was the punt protection coach. The defensive line coach was a punt return coach.
Yeah, so
we didn't have a special teams coach. Marv
Levy
Levy came in, and again, we spent a half hour, 45 minutes of special teams meetings, and a big proportion of our practice was on special teams.
I remember back because when you brought that up, and finish the thought there. Then you go to the Cowboys, and you saw Jimmy Johnson's attention to every detail. And then as you got to, Dave Campo and, I'm sure it lessened up with Barry Switzer, and then it lessened up even more. You get to DeCampo and you get to those guys, and all of a sudden they're just like, what special teams, man? We don't need to do anything with that.
No doubt
so
about
you've
it.
seen that evolution and how it slips up, right? And if you're not paying attention to those details there, you're not paying attention to it in other aspects. You're avoiding stuff. Like Bill Belichick famously, he knew every rule. He focused on everything with the Patriots and whatnot. And, they won games because they knew stuff that nobody else knew.
Rules that other people didn't.
Yeah.
The other thing that came to my mind, and Kenny, seeing him this week, Jimmy, you can word things. You can say, hey, this is important, but then you're not a part of it.
Yeah.
I want you to emphasize, but you're not emphasizing it.
You delegate it down to your special teams coach and go, this is what I want to emphasize this week, and then you're in eating donuts.
Jimmy's in the special teams meetings. which automatically increases the intensity
everybody's.
of a meeting. And Jimmy's out there amongst punt protection, punt return, and all that, which automatically shows everybody this is important.
So it reminded me when we were talking about this the other day with Bruce Cooper and all of that stuff. And I was remembering back to the days I'd go to Flagstaff at the Walk-Up Skydome. And, so this is years ago.
You're talking about Cardinals.
Cardinals, I'm sorry. Yeah. What did I say?
You said practice.
Oh, yeah. Cardinals practice.
I didn't think you drove up there for any use.
Yeah, I know. Well, sometimes, Love my Jacks.
Wow.
And Scott Player would always just be on the sideline by himself, just practice warming up, and then every once in a while he'd jog out on the field, punt a couple in his thing, and then he'd run off. Like, I don't remember any, instruction. I don't remember anything. It was just like, and then he would just stand on the sideline and bounce the ball and, and that type of stuff. And then just I look back at it now, and I'm like, yeah, they didn't emphasize that stuff at all. It was just like, hey, it's part of what we do. Let's run a go Blaze. And move on.
So about that, I was talking to somebody last week. They were talking about, Dale, how'd you get into long snapping? Like, that's kind of an odd thing.
Back then, it was a weird thing to get into.
It was.
You were center, right?
No, I was. In high school, I was a tight end.
Oh no! But I'm saying they just go. It's kind of like a quarterback. Can you throw a spiral? All right, you're a quarterback.
Well, that's where it starts. And then when I was 8 years old, I was a quarterback, middle linebacker, and it got to be fourth down. The coach said, "Dale, just try and throw a pass between your legs." I did. And do you know, from the time I was 8 years old till I was 39 years old, I didn't have one coach try to tell me, "Hey, maybe try this," or "Hey, maybe try that."
Because they didn't focus on it, or you were just naturally good at it.
Because it came so natural.
That's what I mean. You didn't mess up.
And little did I know I was going to be doing it for 30 years.
Yeah, right.
You
blink and 30 years later, you're like, why are we still doing this?
Hold on, I started at 8. But no, as I like here's the overriding thing about the last 2 weeks with Kenny Dillingham versus Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
And remember, coming to the season, I was high on both programs.
Yep.
Because I loved both coaching staffs.
We all were. Yep.
And
I was convinced going into the season, Jonathan Gannon's leading us to the playoffs and deep into the playoff run here over the next.
I wasn't even saying deep. I was just saying, hey,
not this year deep, but I'm saying next few years we're making a deep playoff run, folks.
But the last 2 weeks has shown such a stark difference in how the two coaches face adversity.
Mm-hmm.
What does Kenny Dillingham do? I start making calls.
Yeah.
And I changed this.
Well,
and I changed that.
I actually, because I started pulling some of the video we've done, because I'm like, man, if I can just where Kenny says, I called guys, and then Jonathan Gannon's like, oh, we know
we're fine.
But Jonathan Gannon specifically, looked at everybody out there, and he said it repeatedly. I'm confident in our program, and I'm confident that we have the right guys here.
Yep.
And Kenny Dillingham's like, no, we're going to find out. We're going to go out there. We're going to work hard. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it's just like, oh my God, this is just a disgusting difference between these guys.
We're a young kid. Well, they're both young, but we're going to change. No, hey, I'm admitting to the entire Tempe, Phoenix area, I got away from physicality.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
We're changing that. Now, special teams. Well, guess what? Maybe I did take my foot off the brake there a little bit, but I'm changing that.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon.
I got soft with my team, and that ends today.
Yes.
He said that last week.
Yeah.
Name a coach that's going to say that.
Now Jonathan Gannon, so you can make any change? No, we're good.
Yeah. No, we're good.
No.
Everything's good here.
Yeah.
I have confidence in everybody.
Yeah. What?
My God, I go to the same McDonald's and they mess up on my hash brown 3 times. I'm going to different McDonald's. I'm changing it.
Changing something.
Yeah, just doing something different. I'm leaving earlier to hit up a different McDonald's. And Jonathan Gannon's like, no, it's good. It's good. That would be like me going there and complaining every day that this is the 20th time I've been to McDonald's and they've forgotten something. People at home would be like, stop going there, dude.
Yeah, you're the dummy.
You know what it is, to be fair? You know what? I think I pinpointed what it is. Because Kenny Dillingham has a lot of Pete Carroll in him. Laid back. Has the standards.
Screamer, yeah.
No, he has the standards. He expects the standards, and I haven't watched a lot of Raiders press conferences, so I don't know if he's handling it, but he's not doing anything controversial because we know that,
Right.
And stuff like that. But I mean, at SC, he was just laid back, players coach. Hey, guys, we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it that way. I expect this. I expect that, etc. You know what I think it is? I think it's the emotion. Coaches with zero emotion, I think your team is more stiff.
Your team takes on the personality of the coach.
I think the Cardinals are just stiff. I can't make this mistake. I can't do this. Just zero emotion. It's just this is the facts of the matter. Boom. Because I hear that every Cardinals the last couple games. What was it? It was, we're gonna win this one. We're gonna win this one, and that's what their coach says all the time. Well, we're gonna overcome this, and we're gonna finish this game finally. We're gonna finish it. But you don't hear the lead up to it, right, and stuff to that effect. It's just we're going to stop losing games in the last second. Whereas Kenny Dillingham's winning those last second games, and he's like, we're gonna stop doing this stuff so we have to win at these late punt games and stuff. Right. We're going to start doing this. We're going to start doing this. We're going to get better at that. I think it's emotion. And then I start thinking about around the league. Like Brian Daboll. He's got a lot of emotion, but it's negative energy. Negative energy with him.
Well, it was.
Oh, he's still ripping people after last week's Denver Broncos game.
Well, you gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter.
But it's the way he ripped his defensive coordinator publicly and then behind the scenes. It's like that's detrimental to handle it that way. Sometimes you need to be poised when you're talking, to people and stuff. You need to be stern, but also supportive, right? You can't just rip them all down. But I think it has to do with emotion. I think that's what it is. Jonathan Gannon's just, these are the facts. This is what we're doing. And Kenny Dillingham's like, I don't know what we're doing. Let's figure it out. I don't mean that negatively, but he's willing to call people and everything. And we don't know. Jonathan Gannon might be doing that, but you take on your coach, right? I mean, Patriots won a lot of games with Bill Belichick.
With very stoic Bill Belichick, but yet the key to that, as always in my mind, was the players said he had a personality.
Yes, he showed it behind the scenes.
So
name somebody that said Jonathan Gannon has a personality.
Nobody. And again, when you look at Bill Belichick, I look at him and go, I wouldn't want to play for that guy in a million years.
But then Teddy Bruschi, early in Bill Belichick's career, loves him to death. Yes. Then you go all the way to the end, and everybody's like, I play for that guy. Yes. He got Randy Moss to perform and not cause problems.
Now,
so there's a fine line between no emotion, and
something else just jumped into my mind.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. I'm just going to talk about two coaches. Jimmy Johnson. What did he have? Well, not much talent when he got there, but he had Troy and Michael, two guys who would run through a brick wall to try and win a football game.
Sets the tone.
Hardest workers on the team. What did Bill Belichick have? And so, again, now the other 50 guys are going, if Aikman's doing this, if Irvin's doing this, is Emmitt Smith doing I sure as hell better be doing it.
Was Aikman and Troy kind of like Chris Carter was with the Vikings, where if somebody wasn't fitting in, he'd be like, he needs to be off the team?
You mean Aikman and Michael?
Oh, Michael. Were they like Chris Carter was with the Vikings? Because Chris Carter, if somebody didn't fit into that locker room, Chris Carter went to the ownership and said he doesn't fit in here. Let's get rid of him.
Yes, and they got rid of some guys.
And it sets the tone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then go fast forward to Bill Belichick. What did he have? He had a quarterback in Tom Brady who bought into everything, probably wanted to win more as much
sacrifice
or more than Bill Belichick
to be there.
Sacrifice money, sacrifice social life to win football. So guess what? You come there, your best player is like that. Well, who are you going to follow? You're going to follow the bozo who's going to be gone in a year?
Yeah.
Or are you going to follow this dude?
Yeah.
And you look at ASU, the thing about college that's different is guys are around for 3, maybe 4 years.
Not anymore, though. This is kind of where you're leading me to. You're not around.
Yeah.
I would argue the NFL's more stuck with players that don't work out than college people are.
Right.
because you can get rid of a kid. There's no set contract where he's got a guaranteed role there. You know, the NIL deals dissipate if you have to transfer schools, and a coach can easily go, "You're not fitting in here, man. Good luck to you. We wish you luck. I'll support you, but you're not going to be here."
Right.
NFL, you can't do that, right? You got to do salary cap, and you got to worry about that, and everything. It's just fascinating. It's interesting that we were talking about that today because I brought that up after you were gone. It just those things are just hitting me, man, and it's just like, gosh, a little bit of emotion, and then Jordan Knott the other night for the Suns, right? It was just like he's just a robot. But he does it in a way where the players are like, "Oh, yes, sir, coach." Now it's one game. I get it.
Yeah.
But, it's like, "Okay, coach, we'll get that done for you. No problem. Let's go win this game, guys." And I got my biggest takeaway from the Suns game the other night was we might actually have a coach.
Well, my biggest takeaway is this group. And, you had to wonder, how's Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker? How are they going to coexist? But I've told you stories of me hating guys in college.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you actually meet them and you play on their same team and you realize, hey, we're kind of the same person.
I had that in the corporate world. There were some other people in the company that I was like, that guy's such an a-hole, man. Keep him away from me.
Right.
Then we get stuck in a meeting and they purposely gain us together. By the end of it, we're like, hey, man, let's go get drinks.
Yeah.
Woo! My buddy.
We're a lot more alike than either one of us want to admit.
I mean, everybody experienced. Remember that when you were in school and you had to do group projects with, Cindy McCindy over here, and you're like, oh, she's got purple hair. She's annoying. Yeah, I always hated Cindy McCindy. Wonder what happened to Cindy McCindy.
She still has purple hair.
People are gonna be like, oh yeah, once you go purple, you never go back. Right?
Oh, really?
I don't know. Uncle Lou's coming up at 9:00 today. We missed him yesterday. He's
Is he gonna
coming
be
in
in,
today.
or is he
No,
in?
remote. Yeah, he doesn't leave his house on Fridays. Guess why? UFC weigh-ins and stuff. All the weigh-ins were last night. But yeah, he does all that stuff. And he works from home on Fridays. He's like, I don't leave my house on Fridays, Steve. I was like, I don't care.
I just saw the third microphone set up.
It's always set up.
Oh, is it?
It's always set up now. Thanks for paying attention, Dale.
I don't.
Thanks for paying attention. Hey, let's check in, right? We're not covering a lot of hockey right now because of everything else going on. But hey, let's check in with hockey last night. First of all, there's been a lot of fights in the preseason starting here. Here is 6'9" Rempe for your New York Rangers against 6'2" Brian Reeves last night. These guys are both enforcers. Brian Reeves has been in the league forever doing this type of stuff. Rempe's a young kid coming into the league. Let's get ready to rumble! And no, I'm not paying you, Buffer, for that, for me doing that there. Here's the heavyweight fight last night. Look at this, Dale. Boom. 6'9" is the guy in the blue Rangers jersey. 6'2" is Brian Reeves.
Oh.
Hit him so hard his own helmet came off.
Oh.
This is the best part. The refs went to break it up, and they're like, never mind. You guys are good.
And I tell you, Rempe's conditioning's a factor here, too. This guy's hung in there. He's taken a couple punches. He's given a couple.
Now you break it up.
Yeah,
Get in
that's
there.
done there.
Ends with Rempe.
I mean, those are two enforcers, and that's a dying art in this league. And anybody that knows hockey knows Brian Reeves' name and whatever. But look at that, 6'9" right there, and he's on skates.
How are 6'9" people on skates?
And he's on skates doing that. Makes me nauseating. San Jose actually won their first game last night, by the way. Good for them. Got it done. But hockey's been a little fun this year. I haven't been able to watch as much as
I
I'd
hear
like
the
with
Utah
everything going on.
Mammoth are off to a good start.
No, they're not.
Huh?
I don't know. Half the city can't see them, Dale.
That's the only thing.
I
you
turned
had
it
to
on.
go
I
to.
turned it on to MLB. I turned it on NHL Network, and then only half my TV works for some reason. I don't understand it when I turn on a Mammoth's home game.
Wow.
Just half my screen goes blank, and I can't. I've called in for service.
Well, they're
It works-
6-2, Stevie.
It works
They're-
with everything else.
They're right. They're right there with Colorado Avalanche. Playoffs, here we come.
Are they 6-2 now?
Yeah.
They played a couple games since I last looked.
Let's go, Mammoth.
Really? Mark Stone for the Knights just went on on the long-term injured list as well, and everything. Everybody's losing their mind because the Knights get salary cap relief when you go on that long-term injury list. So they save like $4 million on the side, which means they can go sign somebody else and not have a penalty for it. So everybody, that's what the Knights do every year, by the way. So everybody kind of loses their mind about it, and they're starting to do so now. Are they really 6? Are you sure they haven't played 6 games? Are you reading it right? You're a non-hockey guy.
So
here.
the Colorado Avalanche and Vegas Golden Knights are both undefeated, and the Utah Mammoth are second in the Central.
5-0-2. They're not technically undefeated.
They haven't
but
lost
yes,
a game yet.
5-0-2 though. Yeah. I know. Yeah, but the hockey stalwarts will yell at you for that. Dale. I'm trying to say.
Well, the Avalanche have 13 points. Mammoth have 12.
Yeah, you're right. 6-2-0, man.
Here we go. We're gonna go up and see a playoff game.
Yeah, I will buy us. I will get us into the game for a playoff game if the Utah Mammoth make it.
Okay. But now I want a seat where I can see everything.
No, we're going to get those obstructed seats. We're going to watch half the game,
You
man.
are not getting those 50% off tickets for me.
Oh, here's the best part of it. They don't charge you 50% less for not to be able to see half the ice. No, I don't do that. You know me. I don't do that. We'll get close tickets. You and me. Utah Mammoth game. I'll even buy one of those blue Mammoth jerseys with the Mammoth on the front.
Well, you better slow down, big boy.
Mm-hmm. I do. They look sharp, man. I really do like them a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, half the arena sees them at 6-2-0. Good job. I didn't realize they've won a couple more games since last time I looked. Actually, I told you going into this season, there's much anticipation that they will be fighting for a playoff spot coming up. So next thing, World Series starts tonight, Dale. I mean, nobody's focused on this at all. I think for a lot of reasons. I think one, everybody's just like Dodgers. Do you want me to give you hope? Blake Snell's on the mound game 1 for the Dodgers. Yamamoto's on the mound game 2. Ohtani's going to be on the mound game 3 probably in Toronto. Well, he's probably legal to gamble up there. I don't know. Isn't that amazing? The NFL, or by the way, the NBA investigated Rozier and found nothing. Meanwhile, the freaking FBI comes out yesterday with like a 72-page indictment against the guy.
Well,
good investigation, NBA. Good investigation.
I know we're bouncing around.
Well, I'm saying that because I was going to go to Ohtani. And then Major League Baseball took like half a day to investigate Ohtani's gambling ties.
At least they didn't make him leave the game for a couple years like NBA made Michael Jordan.
My favorite tweet yesterday was people for NBA were like, they were like, gambling used to be handled differently. And it was Michael Jordan at bat. For the Miami team. So great.
Remember the series opens in Toronto.
Yes, tonight.
So the first 2 games will be in Toronto, and then 3 in LA.
Yep.
And if needed, if Toronto doesn't sweep them.
Okay, let's do this. Dodgers are going to win this series, but I'm going to pick Toronto. I'm going to mix it out there. I'm going to say Toronto's going to win this thing. Dodgers are going to falter in the playoffs. The Dodgers are winning it, but just for the sake of it, I'm going to say Toronto's winning it. Dale, what do you say?
Oh, well, I have my head and I have my heart. I could care less about either one of these two teams.
The point. Yeah.
Oh, so give me the Dodgers.
Doesn't matter. We're just doing Major League Baseball for fun. But you want me to give you hope, people at home? You want some hope in this World Series that the Dodgers go down? Because I know you don't have it right now. I know you don't. The Dodgers swept the National League Championship Series, as we know, against the Brewers. They've been sitting for a long time.
Yep.
Blue Jays won that series in 7 games. And they had to come back from 0-2 down at home, right? On the road, they had to come back, and tie that up at 2-2. Then they were down 3-2 and were able to win 2 games to win that as well. This is the 5th World Series matchup where one team swept the championship series and the other one went the whole 7 games. 5th time in the World Series matchups. Do you guys want hope that the Dodgers are going to lose this series? Vladimir Guerrero is going to light up the Rogers Center or whatever it's called nowadays up there. The team that won in 7 and did not get swept won the World Series in all 5 instances, Dale. Blue Jays!
Well, I will tell you this.
Oh, Canada, we love your maple syrup.
So you're telling me that Canada's going to have our national pastimes trophy,
Well, we have theirs.
while the United States has their national trophy. But here's the thing. It's not like Toronto won Game 7, had to get on a flight, go to Los Angeles, and play the next day.
Well, and here's the other thing that's different. Nobody else has had the gigantic payroll where the Dodgers are paying more in tax than most teams have in payroll. That's the other side of that stat that it doesn't tell us, Dale.
Right.
I do expect, unless Blake Snell goes out and pitches a complete game, if Toronto can get to the bullpens, they do have a shot. But if Blake Snell and Yamamoto go out there and Ohtani and do what they did in the last round, Toronto's got zero chance coming up. And you can't go back to L.A. down 0-2.
No, and I can't see a sweep. There's no way I can see a sweep. And again,
It's
I
all
picked
about the batting.
Dodgers, but that's because I picked it with my head.
I know.
With
No, I
my
know.
heart, I'd just soon have Toronto.
Like I said, Dodgers are winning this, in my opinion. I'm just having fun picking Toronto because of that stat. I was trying to set up the stat there. So, I mean, there's differences with that stat, but I wanted to give you guys hope.
You did that. See, that's what you're here for.
Hope.
Hope
And dreams.
and happiness.
That gets underway tonight, the World Series. So tonight, 5:10 p.m., as I said, Blake Snell's on the mound against
That year starts with a Y.
Yeah.
Year.
how do you say that? Savagi? I don't know.
No, that's not even.
Look, we got Luke coming up, UFC. I'm gonna have to struggle with names here today. Matchup number 2, game number 2 will be Saturday, 5:10 p.m. As well, and that's where you get Yamamoto, and we don't know who's going for Toronto yet.
Bullpen game.
Harkins to the bullpen game. Then, of course, they'll travel to Los Angeles to play after that. So when we come back on Monday, Dale, what's this series going to be?
1-1.
I think it's going to be 1-1 also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's going to be 1-1 also. Blake Snell or Yamamoto are going to struggle, but I worry about the Dodgers' bats because they've had so much time off. You can't simulate game eyeball to whatever simulation sitting around and just having batting practice for 8 days that they've been off, 9 days they've been off. So I do worry about game 1. If the Toronto's going to get one of these, it's got to be in game 1, I feel. Get to Blake Snell early. Get him out of there. Get to that bullpen. You'll be all right from that side. Dodgers, by the way, are favored. No shocker from that side of things there. So, we got Lou coming up here. So, we talked a lot about ASU already today, and they got Houston coming up this weekend. Houston's a running team. They're just a team that'll just take 9-10 minutes off the clock, go down, score, and leave you out there. How does ASU look without Jordan Tyson? He is by far their most critical, their most go-to offensive person out there. This is a loss. And you don't need one guy to step up and take his place. You need 2 or 3 guys to step up and just be a little bit better, and then all 3 of them match Jordan Tyson's, side of it. The injury report did come out yesterday as well, and Riley, if you could throw that up for us here. Just let you guys know, and it's just simple, nothing's changed. Prince Dorba, though, is still doubtful, which tells me he's not going to play. I didn't even see him get hurt in that Texas Tech game. I didn't even know he was hurt. Just after the game, I saw these people saying, "Prayers up, Prince. Prince, get better." And I was like, wait, when did he get hurt? I don't know where I was when he got hurt. I don't know what I was paying attention to. But that's a big loss on the defensive line side as well. And I was talking yesterday about, Boogie Wilson there, Jordan Crook as well, the safety, number 8, number 6 for ASU. There were times last week in that Texas Tech game where they stood out on the defensive side. They were in the backfield. They were making the tackles. A couple of those injuries on Texas Tech and drop balls were because those guys were hitting guys. They're both questionable, so they look like they'll play. I think you definitely need them in as well, Dale. And like a lot of people are overlooking Houston, at least from the fan base side. I'm not overlooking them. This will be a closer game than you think it's going to be in terms of a Houston team that you don't think well of. And I think a lot of it just comes down to does ASU are Are they able to get a fast start, and are they able to score touchdowns without Jordan Tyson? They could keep Houston in this game with field goals, and that does worry me as well. But I do think ASU does win this game Saturday night at Sun Devil Stadium.
5 o'clock.
5 p.m. in the shade, unless you're on the visitor side. Enjoy your sun until it goes down.
Maybe it'll be some fluttering of clouds.
Who do you got in this game, Dale?
I got ASU. But I do not think it's going to be a blowout.
No,
I
it's
think
gonna be a
Houston's
close game.
better than most people are giving them credit for. And how do you make that adjustment, especially early with Tyson being out?
You know what I worry about? Same thing we talked to Coach Sheehan about with SCA going up against that wing T there at Arizona Lutheran Academy. You don't know how many times you're going to have the ball on offense, right? Let's say you get the ball on kickoff and you drive down the field, even if you score, right? You score. And then they go on an 8-9 minute run, right? Then all of a sudden you're halfway through the second quarter and you're getting the ball back.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you have to think about going into this game here coming up. So it is interesting to see. I don't think it's a blowout by any stretch. I don't think it's, a last-second win necessarily. I hope it's not. But this is going to be a game. You're going to be – at no point are you going to go, ASU's blowing them out. We're good. Let's leave it halftime.
Let's go catch the tram.
Now, this game here is number 11 ranked BYU. Now, they're playing an unranked team, and we normally don't do this.
Are we going to take a break this hour, or are we going breakless again?
Let's take a break real quick. And
Although
we'll come back with our picks.
I thought that
Did I get yelled at? Did not know it?
no, I didn't. I did not. I was not thinking.
That's all right. I don't even know what time it is, folks.
Well, that's your job. You run the
know.
show. You're the host.
I know.
You don't wear a watch?
No, I just didn't say. I'm just jacked up to be here on a Friday, Dale. Uncle Lou's coming up at 9. We got to cram all this stuff in, man. Come on back, folks. Main events coming up next. College picks, NFL picks. And we're back here. Main events. Dale's keep me in check. That's why we keep him around here.
He just gets going,
I
talking
do.
about his beloved Sun Devils.
I get excited. Let's go. At least we don't have to worry about the Cardinals this weekend. Nice relaxing weekend out there. We got SmackDown tonight at the Mullet. Let's go.
Who's the biggest name that's going to be at the Mullet?
I have no idea tonight.
What?
I actually haven't watched SmackDown in weeks. Yeah. Tiffany Strata will be there. Oh, the dudes love her. Stratus. The dudes love her, man. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. She's young, spry. Dudes love her.
Young and
Young and
spry.
old, they love her. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't followed. I don't know what the storylines going on tonight. I know Cody Rhodes will probably be there. I'd be shocked if he's not there, which is always fun to see. Your buddy Cody Rhodes. I'm trying to look it up here real quick, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I bought a lot of money on tickets for something I haven't watched in a few weeks. So hey, I'm just gonna go have fun, Dale. It's fun on a Friday
you got
night.
Good seats?
Oh, it's the Mullet. You don't have bad seats, but yeah, we're right off. We're up on the side, non-camera side because the camera side's more expensive. But right off the side there, and the ring will be just to our left. Boom, right there. Boom. Not a bad seat in the house, and we'll be able to see him walk out.
All right, let's get back to
It's gonna be
something
awesome.
real.
Let's just finish up the show with WWE Talk, Dale. College football. Number 11, BYU, going to Iowa State. Normally, I would pay attention to a game like this. There's a lot of other ranked other opponents that are interesting, like Texas playing Mississippi State's really interesting, out there. Because Mississippi State, can they actually win an SEC game and knock down Texas a little bit again coming up here? But BYU, obviously leading this conference. We need them to lose at some point coming up.
And because they also have other,
Yeah.
They don't have the tiebreaker over ASU. Do
No,
they?
they don't play. Well, so that's what
That's right.
It goes to the other stuff.
ASU
Yeah.
played Utah.
Yeah,
okay.
Utah. Yeah, not BYU. So BYU, Cincinnati are ahead of ASU because of they haven't lost in conference yet.
Yes. Okay.
Iowa State is ASU's opponent in 2 weeks. ASU has a bye week after this game, then at Iowa State there. So it's a game we want to pay attention to. Iowa State struggled this year. They have a couple losses. The reason why I'm paying attention to this game more so than I am BYU needing a loss is I'm not too sure if Iowa State gets another loss here. I'm not too sure that ASU game might become a little bit easier, if you know what I mean. They won't be fighting to play for Big 12 championship, etc., with another loss for Iowa State. Something to pay attention to. I do have BYU winning this game, though, up there in Iowa State. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the end. But I do have BYU winning it.
BYU's all the way up to 11.
Yeah, they're undefeated, yeah, in the conference. Yeah. They dominate. True freshman quarterback.
Yeah, I think Iowa State. Again, I know it's hard to play in Ames.
It
And that's going to give them some hope. But I believe BYU wins this football game.
Yeah. As much as I want to see BYU lose, to be honest with you, I want that Kansas State. 'Cause the Kansas State game's the last game where I'm like, ooh, like that could be a loss. I'm not saying they can't lose to West Virginia. They won't. I can't say they're not going to lose at Colorado. They won't. I'm not going to say they're going to lose to Arizona, but that'll be a close game. They might. But this is the Iowa State one's the last one where you can kind of be like, hold your breath, and then the other ones you're expecting it to come up. So that's why we're paying attention to that. Then you got number 3 ranked Texas A&M. They have not faltered this year, Dale. Not at all.
That is so un-A&M like.
I know. I don't know who this team is against a team that has faltered. 20 ranked LSU Tigers out there. Brian Kelly could be on his way out of LSU if he loses this game.
Some pressure on him, huh?
A lot after the way they played this year. There's a lot of pressure on him and things. So I'm going to go A&M here. Why? Well, I hope Brian Kelly moves on and goes and does an accent in some other part of the country out there. So I'm going to go A&M on this one. And A&M, I swear to God, if you let me down this year, if this is the game that you have a letdown game, I swear to God, A&M. I swear to God.
You're going to drive down to College Station?
No. But I'm going to curse you up and down the world on Saturday is what I'm going to do.
See, I feel the same way. A&M always screws it up.
Yeah, they usually do it by now, too, and they haven't done it yet. So now it's coming.
That's why they're the Aggies. But now they're number 4.
3.
3.
Yeah.
That's right. Alabama's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that team you didn't have any faith in.
Well,
You have little faith.
they're just unfairly ranking these boys up there, Dale. All they're doing.
3, 4, 5, and 8. I will go and take A&M also. Are they playing in College Station?
No, at LSU. Wait, right up the road. It's an hour drive.
Oh. Give me LSU.
No, change
Give me
it up.
LSU. They're gonna fight really hard for their coach.
Say that again so I won't laugh this
And
time.
it's really, really hard to win
No, it's not.
at LSU.
At the Swamp. It's a day game, too, I believe.
Ooh.
It's not even a night game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Still gets loud there.
Well, no, it does, but it changes things at night. Oh, at 4:30 p.m. our time. So actually, it is a night game. I like it.
Yeah, look out.
Texas A&M's 2.5 point. I'm not happy about picking Texas A&M. I will not be surprised if they lose 70-3 or something coming up this weekend. Then you got 15th ranked. Or is it? Are they 15th ranked? Missouri?
Yep.
Are they 15th?
Yep.
Okay. I was like, they can't be 5, are they? At number 10 ranked Vanderbilt. At Vandy in Nashville.
School you always make fun of.
But I love their quarterback, and he does special things out there. Here, I'll let you pick this one first.
Just despite Stephen McCullum, whose every SEC punchline starts and ends with Vanderbilt. Well, SEC can't be a tough conference. They got Vanderbilt in there.
And Mississippi, and Alabama,
And Alabama.
South Carolina.
You know what? Just to keep the dream alive, give me the Vanderbilt Commodores.
You know I'm picking Vanderbilt,
No,
you
you're
copier. Absolutely I am. Vandy's winning this bad boy. Sending Missouri back home on the road. That playing in Nashville is a special place. You get all the celebrities there in Nashville that are showing up now. The quarterback's mom gets all the press because everybody thinks she's hot and everything. And he's a special quarterback there in Vandy. And I think Vandy's going to pull this out as well. I cannot go Vandy in this game this weekend, especially as the favorite. And then –
hold on. Did you pick Vandy or no?
I picked Vandy.
Well, you just finished saying I can't go with Vandy this week.
I can't go against Vandy this week. I know.
That's a big difference.
I'm tired, folks. It's been a long night.
So basically what that is you got to cover both ways. I told you I was going against Vandy.
No, I wrote down Vandy. I got an S next to Vandy.
Okay.
Then we got 8 Ole Miss against 13th ranked Oklahoma. At Oklahoma, no less. Mississippi boys leaving that godforsaken state and moving all the way over to that Oklahoma, that godforsaken state.
Well, Mississippi State had their first loss last week.
You mean Ole Miss?
Ole Miss.
Yes. Does Lane Kiffin give him the swagger back? Lane Kiffin, to me, has a special team. I didn't think they'd go undefeated, but he has a special team this year.
Yeah.
And then you've got Oklahoma, who has surprised some people, even though they have lost. They've surprised some people, and everybody's like, "Oh, Oklahoma's back now." I'm going to hold my breath, and I'm going to take Lane Kiffin. Going to win it on the road at Oklahoma this weekend. And sorry, Papa Mike, I know you're going to be mad at me because he's an Oklahoma fan, but I'm going to go Ole Miss this weekend.
Boy, I think I went with them last week, and they bit me.
Yeah, you did, yeah. Well, you should follow me. I had a lot of good picks last week. I didn't have a lot of red X's.
Since Oklahoma's moved to the SEC, I've had questions about them each and every year. I've not watched that much of Ole Miss, but give me Ole Miss. I'm going to follow you.
All right. Probably smart this week. I'm going to laugh when we all just have red X's down the side. We all picked the same again. No. Texas A&M, LSU, we were different.
Okay.
Winner of that game will make us whoever the winner is this week right there. We usually don't do that. And then NFL, of course. Last night we both picked the Chargers. Carson Wentz is hurt, and it's obvious he's hurt.
Yes.
To leave him in that game to me, man, was just, where's the doctors to protect these?
Yep.
That was ugly. That's Kevin O'Connell. That's dereliction of player safety. Players get pulled out of games all the time because they make a routine tackle, but the guy on the sidelines like, oh, his head hurts. What are we doing? Why are we watching a guy that obviously can't step into his throws, can't move? He's literally on the sideline just staring at the sky like, please let me survive this thing. He's like a prize fighter where they refuse to throw in the towel and the referee won't stop it. I don't get what Vikings were doing.
It's a 34-10 or 37-10 game in the fourth quarter.
It was, to my eye, I'll use the word disgust. It was disgusting watching what the Vikings did to Carson Wentz. Now they didn't care. They're moving to J.J. McCarthy. They don't care, now Wentz has time to heal up, I guess, if you want to say that from that side. But Chargers won that game. We both picked them last night. Then we're going to go. There's not a lot of good matchups this week. A lot of people on buys, but then a lot of good teams playing not so good teams out there as well this weekend. But we're going to go with Bears at Ravens this weekend. Bears, do they keep this win streak going?
You know what's interesting? You say there's not a lot of good games, and yes, there's 6 teams with a bye this week.
Mm-hmm.
But really the only good team, well, the Jaguars aren't playing, Seahawks aren't playing. Your vaunted Arizona Cardinals aren't playing.
Winners of the coming up. They're coming back, Dale.
Rams, Raiders, and Lions are the other three. So
It's a tough week. If you want good matchups. Who's the odd guy out in this bye week with all the teams you just named? Arizona Cardinals.
all right. So what game did you say?
Bears at Ravens this weekend.
Bears at Ravens. Well, obviously Lamar Jackson, if he's at least practicing.
He's practicing. He's probably not going to play though.
I don't know about that, but
I know they need him.
when do you start believing in my boys, the bad Bears from Chicago?
That's
4
what I
in a
mean.
row?
Yeah.
They won 4 in a row.
They can win 5 or 6 in a row if they win this week, and they can keep it rolling.
And, boy, in Baltimore.
Yes.
I don't know. Go ahead and give me the Bears.
I'm going Bears also in this game. I just don't think Lamar's playing this weekend. He's practicing, but I do think he's probably another week
Can
out.
you call somebody, Steve?
Can you call somebody, Dale?
Okay, can you call somebody from the Russian mob
Ray Lewis doesn't return my calls anymore.
and ask, hey, is he playing or not?
Ray Lewis doesn't call me. I should call T Sizzle, see what he's up to, and give me some inside
I want to
info.
meet him at a Starbucks.
Just insult him.
Yeah.
While he's choking me out.
Yeah.
like
Hey, is your boy playing?
Bears this weekend. Ravens will have to change something around. I wouldn't be shocked if Lamar does plays, but I like what the Bears got. And that Ravens defense is god awful.
Yes.
Regardless of Lamar plays. And the Bears, I think, can get into a shootout and have some success. So that's why I'm going Bears. Then there's a team here that shocks the heck out of me. I looked 6 times last night to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. Your Bills, 4-2. Your Bills are playing the Panthers.
Yes.
Dog of a game, right? In your mind, you're like, oh, it's a terrible game. Nobody wants to watch that garbage. Do you know the Panthers are 4-3 on the season?
You know what else?
4-3. Your Carolina Panthers have a better record than your Arizona Cardinals, folks.
And you know what else the Panthers have? 3-0 at home.
T-Mac.
Three
Are they 3-0 at home too?
Yeah.
I was floored. I literally was like, okay, somebody's punking me. The Panthers can't be the 4-3. The Panthers can't have all this good stuff happening right now. Bills, Panthers, this is not an easy game for the Bills this weekend. 10 a.m. on Sunday. Dale, I got the Bills in this game. I do think they're going to pull it out, but it's obviously not going to be as easy as you think it would be in this game. So that's what I'm going to roll with.
Well, I think it's an important game for Buffalo. Obviously, they have the 2 losses. They're going to be fine. They finish the season 12-5, something like that. But I think they go down there. I think the Panthers are a little bit of a facade, but they are much better than people thought they were. Plus, I thought that I read where their quarterback is dinged up.
Yes. I believe he's back to practice, but don't quote me on that.
So knowing all that, go ahead and give me the Buffalo.
I just can't believe. I just never in my life would I thought I'd see the Panthers were 4-3.
Yeah. Vying for a playoff spot.
Recently. 49ers, Texans this weekend. 49ers beat up to all heck. Got destroyed last week as well. Just beat up, caught up to them. But they're playing the Texans at 2-4. Texans need to start winning. They got the Jags and the Colts running away with that division right now. They got to figure it out. 49ers are injured. Can the Texans overcome and beat an injured 49ers team? The 49ers, at some point, these injuries are going to catch up to them. Now, they got Kittle back. I don't know if Purdy's playing yet, but if he's not, their backup's really good and winning games. Can the Texans surprise the Niners this weekend and overcome an injured 49ers team, Dale?
It's amazing with all the injuries, the one guy who always seems to be hurt the most, CMC.
He's the healthiest guy out there.
And he is playing like a madman. I was just looking at stats. He's 465 yards rushing, 516 yards receiving. He's already got 53 catches on the season. We're not halfway through the season yet.
And they give him the ball a lot these days.
Jeez Louise. I just think something's wrong in Houston. We saw them regress last year, regressing more this year. They're banged up too.
They're even talking about their quarterback not getting his extension that he qualifies for this year.
Yeah,
he's playing that. They're playing that badly.
So give me my beloved San
49ers,
Francisco.
Yeah, the
49ers.
Texans. I don't think the Texans are snapping out of what's going on with them this year, and I think the second half of the season, if the 49ers don't get healthy, I think the second half of the season is where you're going to start to see them go on long losing streaks and stuff like that due to those injuries, but not quite yet here. Last game, your Dallas Cowboys, who score 772 points a game, I think is the official stat line for them. And they're playing the Denver Broncos, where they score like 4 points a game.
Or 33 in the fourth.
Against the Giants. Cowboys at Broncos this weekend, Dale.
Well, I know this. You can't ever walk away from the TV if you're watching this game. No lead is safe.
Especially with the Cowboys. You thought the
Yes.
Giants defense
I was
let the
gonna
Broncos
say,
back in.
You made a remark about the Giants defense, the Cowboys defense.
Cowboys, by the way, last I looked, Cowboys did have the worst defense in the
Yeah.
NFL. Yeah.
But I think the Cowboys are starting to feel themselves a little bit. Go ahead and give me your Dallas Cowboys.
I'm going Cowboys. I'm going Broncos this weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think the Broncos. Sean Payton insults quarterbacks. Had to walk it back the other day. By the way, I'm pretty confident Cowboys are winning that game, but I do. There's something about the Broncos where they just win ugly games.
Well, they're playing at home again.
Yeah, and so it's just like, man, they can put it together just enough to get that point. Just a Sunday Night Football, just a kind of a bonus game. We're not going to do Commanders Chiefs because quarterback for the Commanders is probably out again with this hamstring. But Packers Steelers is going to be our bonus game this week. Sunday Night Football. It's only the one game where you look at it and you go, that's got to be a must watch. Everything else this week is kind of different. Aaron Rodgers at home against his old team, the Packers. And this week he said, I'm going to retire Packer, but I'm all done.
Oh, he spent, 17 years there?
Yeah. I got the Packers winning this game against the Steelers. The 4-2 Steelers are going down.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to exact revenge
Micah Parsons.
on the Packers.
Yeah. Nobody, everybody learned that you can just go one-on-one with Micah Parsons after that Cardinals game. So Dale, that's what everybody learned last week. So I think the Steelers are going to employ the same thing and be able to stop Micah like the Cardinals did, and I think we're going to be good.
I already forgot about that.
After the game, Micah's going to go, I can't believe I have a single coverage twice now.
Now, give me Aaron Rodgers. You never bet against Aaron Rodgers in a big game. Big game, Pittsburgh Steelers.
He only has one Super Bowl, so you do bet. You do go against Aaron Rodgers in big games, Dale. When we come on back, we'll keep it rolling. Lou's coming in this next hour as well. We'll talk UFC, of course, NFL with him as well. We got our stuff there out of the way. Folks, come on back. We're having some fun here on this Friday. And we're back here at the main event. Here on Friday, you got me, your humble host, Stephen McCollum. You've got 17-year NFL veteran, ex-Dallas Cowboy. Well, once a Cowboy, always a Cowboy. Dale Hellestray.
Boy,
And then,
look at that game face.
yeah, I know, here on this Friday, instead of Thursday this week, Uncle Lou.
Doesn't
the
leave
man,
the house, huh?
the myth, the legend, Uncle Lou, folks, from VSiNGambling.com. Lou, how you doing, man?
I'm a man in Vegas. I'm a legend in my own mind, and I'm a myth at home.
You just don't leave the house on Fridays, Lou. That's your standard operating procedure?
Outside of walking the dogs and going to get a taco and a margarita and up for a late lunch to try and do my super contest. There's a lot of work to be done on Friday, and so I hole up here, yes.
Hey, by the way, since I told Dale that earlier in the show, he has since requested that he doesn't leave his house on Friday either. So he's taking your leave.
I have
there,
to
Lou.
leave every Friday for crying out loud.
He's got to go be the boss somewhere, so he's got to leave the house.
So, Lou, how you doing this week? We got a big early fight here coming up from Abu Dhabi. Last week was in Vancouver. Forget all that. We do get international listeners to the free podcast system out there. So introduce everybody to you, of course, where they can find you, what you do, etc. Just for people that are hearing you for the first time.
Well, my name is Lou Finicaro. I am a profitable sports gamer most of the time. I can't guarantee I win all the time, but I've been doing this for over 40 years, so there has to be some success there. I really try and focus in and specialize, narrowing focus to increase expertise in trying to earn money by betting on certain select sports. I try and specialize. So that's Gamblu.com is my moniker. That's my trademark in my webpage. There's a good look at it right there. And along the top band, you can hit those tabs to discover who I am, what I do, what sports I work, and what's important to me. And one of the most important things to me is the tab on the far right, the San Xavier Del Bac Mission tab, which is the oldest mission in the United States, located here in Arizona, just south of Tucson. They're doing great work, and we are responsible to routing money towards them and drawing attention to their work so that you listeners can consider the same. We're not pitching or asking you to, we're exposing you to the opportunity that there is.
Perfect. Thank you, Lou, as always, and everybody that catches us. I know when they were in Australia, we got a lot of New Zealanders and Australians and people from that part of the world listening to us, and I know we get a lot of people from the Middle East also. So follow Lou, guys, and, of course, find him on all of his VSiN hits as well. And, Dale, what do you got?
I got one question for you, Lou. We got a whole hour so we can get into football and the UFC, and I know that's your bread and butter. I just want to know your feelings when you got up yesterday, like all of us, and the FBI's arresting NBA basketball players and coaches. Shocked? Just your initial feelings, because obviously we still don't know everything that's going on, but your initial feelings.
Yeah, I was driving back from Vegas early morning. I leave at 5 in the morning because on a Wednesday or Thursday morning between the two cities at 5 a.m., there's me and a few truckers. So it's a very easy, beautiful drive, and I had the VSiN on most of the way, listening to it, development by development. My overall take is one that I'm not surprised. If there's anything I'm not surprised at, it's the mob's ability to go and transition from 30s and 40s style theft and graft and avarice and adapt themselves to the modern era of sports gaming, to what we've seen has happened here with these high-tech gambling rings and what's going on with the props market. So there's a lot of moving parts. At the end of the day, the fact is simply this, that this stuff gets brushed under the rug and probably isn't even detected without, if there wasn't legal gaming watching over the irregularities here. And the John Q. public doesn't understand that. They think we're the root, and it isn't the root. It's the root of honesty, is because you got big, huge, multi-million-dollar corporations don't want to lose their money, and if you're going to cheat them, you're going to take your hands into the law and you're above the law. Now you're in the FBI, and that's not a very good situation. So anyone involved, I mean, I got a $500,000, $800,000 a year career, and I'm going to jeopardize it by doing what NFL, MLB, every sport tells these kids not to do it. And yet you got coaches and kids doing it. So it comes back to the one saying, never underestimate the power of greed.
I got one last question about that, because I was always brought up, and even like talking to you, the one thing about sports is the fact that to gamble on it, to be interested in it, you got to believe that the product is real and the results are real. 40 years ago, boxing and horse racing were like the number one things in the United States, and gambling was a big part of that. And then, as you said, you soured on boxing. I don't ever think you were in horse racing, but because it didn't seem like it was a fair competition. Do you see any of that happening? Do you agree with what I said?
Well, you can't disagree with the fact that boxing was ruined from the inside by its own greed. That's what lost me. And now you were segueing a little bit from, gangsters fixing games to, does a big, huge organization like the NFL really want the Chiefs to succeed because of what they can get from Taylor Swift? I think when we're in 2025, if I were to tell you that you should ignore the cause and effect of what gross amounts of money can bring, that would be irresponsible. So I can't say that. And I'm very suspicious of a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, and then I put it all together where the commissioner of the NBA earlier this week said they've asked their gambling partners to stop doing as many player props because that tells me the NBA knew what was happening before the FBA rated them. We, of course, have learned that they did know that since then. But then also over the weekend, I did not see the UFC fights this weekend, but I'm following Twitter, man, and I see Lou on there left and right. And, specifically, you flat out said, I believe, that you said the integrity of the UFC. You were questioning it over the weekend with some of those results out there as well on that side. So, is money the ultimate side of this where it's just affecting all of these leagues from, like you said, from the inside out?
Yes.
I didn't want to put words in your mouth, but you were pretty adamant about it.
Listen, the UFC is owned by an entertainment company. Mm-hmm. They bonus their fighters for massive KOs and they incentivize the finish. That's what sells. That's what they want. That's what they're looking for. High-level wrestlers outside of Dvalishvili, who they hated, but now because he's so popular now they like him all of a sudden because he's gaining interest and eyeballs for him. But really, wrestlers are shoved off to the side and they're not welcomed as much as that big, huge knockout artist. And so we know what they're tempted with. I've seen this whole thing before. And yes, I'm starting to get to the point now where I see some decisions. A guy stops a fight, calls it a finish 3 seconds before the end of the round. Then he says, oh, no, I'm sorry, round's not over. You got to keep fighting. So these things are creeping in. And I'm really in a lucky position that I can be selective on what I'm going to choose to shoot at. But I'm only going to shoot at something that's fair. And if I smell that it isn't, I'm gone.
Yeah. Well, and that's the issue that you kind of got to pay into. Now, I joke around and tell Dale all the time, like, because I'm going to WWE SmackDown tonight. He's like, that fake stuff. And I'm like, it's not any more fake than the NBA or the NFL with the calls that you see on the field, and I give him a hard time about that stuff,
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, he knows it is.
One's gone with the wind, and the other one still has a semblance of reality to it. I mean, when I see one guy laying on the canvas quivering and another guy standing over him, that ain't days of our lives, bro.
I'm just saying, I might stumble upon a UFC. I'll look for it, the UFC script for this weekend. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying tonight, since they're owned by the same company. No,
Well, if there is a script, there's a few fights that there. I'll tell you where the script is when we get to that.
Okay. I just joke around about that a little bit, but, no refs are on the take. Nobody's paying attention to that stuff. And basketball, I do question. I've always questioned basketball, but there's just too few people, and that can be NFL. You'd have to have so many people to keep secrets and stuff like that. It's incompetence that leads to that.
One thing I've always brought up, Lou, and it never happened to me. I've always said if you want to fix a football game or influence a football game, you should talk to a long snapper. First of all, going to be one of the lowest paid guys on the team, and you don't even have to make it look that bad for a field goal to be missed. Things like that. But I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I want to let this story come out and see exactly what happens and all that. And I know you guys got a lot of UFC stuff
That's
to talk
okay.
to.
You were going to say something, Lou? Do you remember what you're going to say?
I just think it's a fascinating development happening in front of us, and the low hanging fruit is we're going to no more prop betting. These big prop betting's going to be okay. It's just how the leagues and everyone's going to deal with it, because the gambling machine's rolling. It ain't going away.
Well, that's for sure. But, we all know these big leagues can lean on their partners, meaning DraftKings, FanDuel. They can lean on them a little bit. It's those other sites, right, that don't have anything with them that obviously doesn't have to listen to them. So
looks to me like the NBA's losing their opportunity to lean right in front of our eyes right now.
Yes. I agree with you on that. So, speaking of UFC, last weekend it was at Vancouver. There were some good fights here as well last week. A couple of these here. You said the Nelson fight here, Kyle Nelson and Matt Frevola. Was it that fight? Yeah, Nelson and Frevola, I think it was. You said that was a must-watch fight in there. But then you were kind of looking at Park and Bruno Silva, and you said that was a watch one for you last week on the show. I don't know if you changed your mind. So I was curious. Park did get submitted there in the third round. You wanted to watch Park in that one. At least you said that last Thursday. Did you get what you wanted to see out of Park?
No. I was considering using him as a parlay piece. I thought he would roll over Silva. He showed me that he's really he's not to the level that Bruno Silva is, and Bruno Silva's a journeyman. And then the other fight, I'm glad you brought that up, Nelson. That was a very good win for me. Last week, I think I just win a few cents or lose a few cents because the DeRitter main event was a setback.
Yeah.
Nelson was he wasn't an underdog. He was like minus 105.
No, remember it switched on Thursday. He was plus 102 on Thursday. I don't know if it changed after that. I didn't look.
Plus 102 I think by the time I released him, he was minus 105.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it switched on you. Yeah.
It was a winner. That was the good part. But the DeRitter loss showed poorly. I'm happy for Allen, who I don't regard that highly, but he gets jettisoned into the top 5, and DeRitter gets called a quitter, and I don't know if he'll ever be able to shake that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. This negatively affects. It was it was basically a knockout right in the 4th round. Lot of negativity around DeRitter on this. This has to affect his future in the UFC in terms of perception and fights that he gets, right?
We'll see. I mean, I would think guys can't wait to get at him. The other thing is he's like Darren Till, and it's when big, huge guys cut all this weight to make a division that they want to be the bigger bully in, and that's what he's been doing. And he wasn't able to get rid of this guy in a round, run out of gas, then he quits. Yeah. No, they can't wait to get at him.
Well, I have no doubt other fighters were in too, but he's not going to get another big opportunity is kind of what I was leading.
Well, he's going to have to work his way into it, and over the course of 2, 3, 4 fights, we'll have to see what happens. If he turns it around, then bully for him, but it's going to be hard.
Vera Zahabi, you liked, at least last week, we talked about Vera possibly being somebody to look at with that plus 105 number. Zahabi got that split decision there in the 3rd round. What were your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, we had Zahabi straight. We had Zahabi in the point handicap. Yep. Zahabi was a good result for us. And I think we were Thursday last week.
We were Thursday.
And at that point in time, I was afraid of Vera.
Yeah.
But by the time Friday morning came, when I do the About Business podcast, I was firmly on Zahabi. And I'm about to do the podcast when I'm done with this transmission here. So those listening around the world are going to get good information once we get to it.
Perfect. And then the last one I wanted to ask you about was Davy Grant. Here as well. We talked about him. Got submitted in the first round, 3 minutes into the first round there, by Charles Jourdain from Canada there. Davy Grant, we talked about him last week as somebody maybe to pay attention to into this fight, but he goes down early here. Your thoughts on Grant after that fight?
Yeah, Steve just puts it so delicately. The bottom line was I was pretty high on Grant. I didn't think
You were.
I was stunned at the price, and I didn't see how Jourdain was going to stay in the fight. So that's a big miss there because Jourdain subs him in one. That was Styles, maybe Jourdain electrified in front of a Canadian crowd. But Grant's not as bad as he looked, and Jourdain's not as good as he showed.
Yeah, but well, you know, I soften things up. I'm good at doing that. Dale can attest to that when I lose bets or whatever.
I appreciate that, but in my world, it's either black or white. You win it or you lose it. You turn the page and go on.
Lou, just so you know, Steve beat me for the first time all season in college football picks.
Let's throw it up.
And it was thrown up on Twitter, I think, as soon as the last game was over. Look at all his red X's.
He only went two.
Baby.
He only picked 2 games right out of like 7 last week in college. So I had some fun with that, you know.
I'd ride him this week. He's due for a bounce.
I know that's the problem. Well, we picked the same except for 1 game, so I'm hoping he's not too bad from that side. So that was last week. It was an entertaining card from what I understand and what I read, and I saw some highlights on it. But then this week we go, of course, early morning main card here, 11 a.m. Over there in Abu Dhabi. It is a numbered event, so one of the last remaining pay-per-views coming up here this weekend. Aspinall and I just completely forgot who he was fighting. Gane, thank you. Holy cow, it just slipped my mind. But a numbered event means there's a lot of fights here coming up, Abu Dhabi. 11 a.m. main card our time. Gosh, that puts it off at what, 7 o'clock or so our time with those early there's no early prelims, just the regular prelims?
Left hooks and lattes, Steve. Come on, baby. Get on up and let's get after it.
This might be one I might have to buy because I got nothing going on Saturday morning, so I might have to entertain myself here coming up this weekend. So with this side, you know, going over to Abu Dhabi usually means there's a lot of fighters from that area to prop them up, you know, and do that. I'm assuming that's the same thing here this weekend.
Yeah, we have to be aware of the dogs that we're going to be picking on the card this week as well. We have to be aware of who are the Muslim fighters. That's a Muslim part of the country, PV. That's a Muslim part of the world. And so the Russian fighters, the Egyptian fighters, those from that general region that happen to be Muslim of religious origin will be the ones that the crowd favors. And of that, what do we have? A Russian, Palestinian, Egyptian, an Afghani, and a Kazakhstan. So there's like 6 different local regional guys. One of them not only is a regional fighter, and his name in the undercard is Abdelwahab. He is an Egyptian fighter, and he also is 5 years younger than his opponent, who is Chris Barnett. Mm-hmm. And so when you get a 5-year age difference, it's usually about a 60% advantage. So he gets that. He's fighting in front of home. Barnett's the one that had to travel across the country. And Barnett is a wildly athletic guy, but he weighs 265 pounds. And if he was 2 inches taller, he'd be 5'10". He's just a short little round guy, but he's quick and fast and athletic. And this should be a very interesting fight. But you have to pay a price on Abdelwahab, but there's some interesting stuff there. So big cage. There are 2 women fights on this whole setup. That's unusual. They only had one the last time they were there. Before then, they never had them.
They don't like women showing their skin at all, right? Yep.
Well, I don't know what it is. I'm just reporting that there's two women's fight on this card, and one of them is in the top on the pay-per-view portion, which is interesting. So we have that. We have some age difference. One is a decent one, but for the most part, there's some really compelling fights here. We lost one of them, the Al Sawadi Camillo fight, but other than that, the rest of them are good to go. And in each case, we're going to have some competitive, interesting fights.
Well, since you brought up that women fight, we've seen Verna Jandiroba, on the main card a few times here as well. She's going up against Mackenzie Dern. We've seen her before as well. Here, Dern is the favorite going into this fight. If I remember correctly, Jandiroba, I'm not saying she knocks people out, but she's got some power behind her and can do some damage. Do I remember correctly, or am I just completely about-faced?
No, she's actually
A wrestler?
Still developing her hands. She uses stand-up only to get to the grapple. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and ultra. She's very, very talented. Now 37. She gets to the UFC a little late. She fought Dern in 2020, and Dern won a decision. And so now it's 5 years later, and that 5 years means a lot. Dern was new in the UFC 5 years ago and had just had a kid. And she shows up now against a 32-year-old Jandiroba. Now Jandiroba's 37 and Dern's 32. Dern's dad is a guy named Wellington Diaz. He's one of the most decorated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialists ever in Brazil, right up there with the Gracie family. Geez, how would I lose track of that?
That's right. Now that you're talking, I remember I had it backwards.
In Wellington Mara. Anyway, when Dern was in diapers, she was a world champion gold medalist in BJJ. And so now they have each had their own career. Dern has refined her striking so that she's apt on the feet with her striking. So she's a little better on the feet than Jandiroba. But both of these girls are going to want to roll and test themselves at their strength. And I can't wait to watch that. It should be competitive and fun. I think it's a close fight, but I do agree that Dern, who has that championship pedigree and now finally gets a chance to get her championship, I think she has too much championship pedigree. She also is the one with 5-round experience and UFC title shot prior to this. Mm-hmm. So her experience, her youth, and her championship I think are going to be tough for Jandiroba to beat. However, on the Jandiroba side, she's very gritty. She's tough as she can be. And the intangible in these fights sometimes becomes, and I don't know really what to call it, but in one corner you have Dern. And if you look at her in the weigh-ins today, you want to take her on a date or go swimming with her, not fight her. She is a curvaceous, beautiful young gal. And that's over and out. And then you pan over to Jandiroba. Unfortunately, Jandiroba doesn't have the beauty that Dern has. And so when Dern's gifted to one side, and unfortunately for young Miss Jandiroba, she's just got a very unique look, and her eyes are off. And so she doesn't have the beauty that Dern does. And so will she take that into her angst? I've handicapped that before, and I believe it does compel the lesser attractive women in many cases. So I look for a competitive fight, but one that I think Dern has too much championship pedigree for.
Just the whole time you're talking about Jandiroba, I was like, gosh, Lou, I'm sitting right here. You don't need to keep describing me like that. People can see me. Eyes are off. Jeez.
I've not tracked your eyes being off.
And that's the co-main event, by the way. In, like you said, a Muslim area where women just don't get these opportunities. So I think that's a big deal there with that co-main event. I just want to make sure we covered it. For the prelims, you obviously brought up, the other fight, the Barnett Abdelwabi fight. Is there any other prelim fights that we should pay attention to before that main card starts?
Yeah, I'm glad you circled back there, Steve. Good job. The first one is Ludovic Klein, Slovakia, against Mateusz Rebecki from Poland. Little Polish beer keg that's half TNT and half nitroglycerin. And he's built like that, and he gets in stand-up fights, but he's a wrestler, and he's short and squat and stocky, and he shouldn't be getting in these stand-up fights because he's getting pieced to the dickens. If he wrestles, he can win. He's in against a guy that has trouble keeping it standing up, but over the course of his career, he's had to improve his takedown ability, and I'm referring to Ludovic Klein. If Klein can keep this fight standing, he's going to paint the fence of Rebecki, and this is going to be a great stylistic fight. The one that I do think Klein will have a little advantage in. Then you go to Delgado and Nathaniel Wood. This is a featherweight fight. Wood has the UFC experience. He's a veteran fighter. He's been in the cage with better. Great wrestling game. Comes from England, shows up for this fight against a young up-and-coming Delgado who fights out of the MMA lab here in Phoenix, Arizona. Delgado missed weight by a pound today, which is a little concerning, but not surprising. This is his first trip out of the country. He's a big step up for him, and the travel and everything else looped him out, and he missed the pound. When we saw the weigh-ins today, he was looking a little down in the dumps, chagrined because he's a pro and they don't like missing, but he tried to make. He didn't make it. He's going to get docked some of his pay, but at the end of the day, they got to go in there and fight. And he's the much larger man. He's got 5 inches of height, 5 years younger, and he has a 5-inch reach advantage, and he can wrestle and strike. Delgado is in a really good position here, despite the fact he missed weight.
And he's at a minus 148 right now as well in that fight.
Small favorite.
Yep. Over under on that fight is 2.5, and both over and under at the minus 115 here. Somebody have submitting or knockout power here in this fight? Is that what that's telling us?
Delgado finished a guy last fight, never been finished him in the first round. Delgado's special. And I think that's what the line is indicating.
Okay, perfect. Any other prelims before we get up into that main card?
No, those two pretty much cover it. Other than that, Haqparast and Saul killed. You got an Afghani fighter against an Aussie. And so you might have some crowd and maybe a little home cooking with Haqparast, who is the Afghani or the Muslim fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that, by the way, is
that's going to be a really close fight.
That's basically a pick 'em right there as well. Minus 105. For the Haqparast, and then Sal Kilo, is minus 115 right now. So yeah, they're calling that one a close one there, as the last card there. Yeah. Yeah,
and I think maybe Haqparast via decision is the way to go there. You'll get a nice plus price there.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. By the way, over on that is 2.5, minus 245 to the over. So decision.
They're telling you it's going to decision and it's going to be tight.
Absolutely. So on the main card here, you got Rakic and Mirzkanov to start off the night. Another pick'em fight here as well. So another good one to not miss.
So we started with the girls from the main card because that's the co-main event. There's 4 other fights. One is a bantamweight, and the other one are light heavyweight or heavyweight fights. So we get all of the big boys on the pay-per-view portion of this card, and this is going to be good. Now, Rakic is an Austrian, long, tall, looks the part. Every time he fights a top 7 or 8 guy, he can't seem to get through. He beats everybody else. Right there at about 7 or 8 is Umar Mirzakirnov. Mirzakirnov, a short, stocky Russian, can wrestle, a lot of power. And when they stand next to each other, you wonder how Mirzakirnov is a pick'em in the fight. But he's explosive, got power and wrestling. This should be a really, really excellent fight. I go back and forth on a little bit. I like Rakic because he's 5 years younger, but I like everything else about Mirzakirnov. So it's a pass for me, but it's not a pass in watching because I don't want to miss it.
Now, light heavyweight, so these guys have some power to them, usually, right? Over-under on this one's 2.5. It's minus 125 to the over. It's minus 105 to the under here in this fight as well. So, it sounds like it's going to be a battle here between these two guys.
One that I don't think we want to miss, and I would my tendency is to think one guy might stop the other by the time they get to that third round and exchange some damage.
Then you got Alexander Volkov and Jalen Almeida here coming up. Almeida is a big favorite here coming into this fight. Well, it's come down. It looks like, at least according to what I see, he's a minus 162 favorite right now. Almeida is.
Yeah, he opened minus 250. So Almeida is an ex-light heavyweight that no one would fight. And so he's like, well, I got to fight, so I'll move up to heavyweight. And over the course of 3 or 4 fights, he went from 225 to 240 to 246. And today he weighs in at, 244, it looks like.
You know what I call that, Lou? I call that Thursday for me.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. Well, he did it over the course of time with muscle. He's a ED. Stop. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. A pub steak precedent.
He did it over time. He did it the right way. The dude is a freakish wrestling Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialist. He's unbelievably explosive, quick on his feet, adroit, powerful man, sculpted out of rock, but he's not very good with his stand-up. That's where he's still developing. Meanwhile, you go to Volkov, who fought Gane, who we'll talk about in the main event, in his last fight, and arguably 19 of the 20 people from the press scoring the fight scored it for Volkov. Volkov got robbed in that fight. Anyway, Volkov is this big, long 6'7" Russian, and he's been in with better. He's fought for the championship. The dude is world class on the ground and standing up. And in this fight, physically, he's going to be 4 inches the taller man. They're about the same age. He's going to have a slight reach advantage, but it'll be magnified by his leverage, by how tall he is. Almeida's got to get in. Volkov can't let him in. Volkov's grappling is world class, and so it's not like he can't survive on the ground, but he doesn't want to be there. And he's so large, I think he's going to be able to keep it up. And should he keep Jailton on the outside of his punches, he's going to mark Jailton up and welcome him appropriately to the heavyweight division. I believe that's what's going to happen. I like Volkov in this fight a good deal.
Yeah, over-under on this one's only the 1.5, but it is minus 130 to the over right here at this point here. So not a knockout by Volkov, but you think it's going pretty far?
I don't know why Volkov couldn't knock him out.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. On an early side, well, just the way you were describing it, I wasn't sure if it would be an early one.
Hey, listen, I'm betting Volkov. After that,
it doesn't matter. We've seen Mario Batista before. I recognize him out there, and he's playing. He's fighting Umar is all I'm going to call him. Umar with a lot of vowels in his last name. Well, first of all, pronounce Umar's last name because he's a large favorite here. 625 favorite here coming into this fight.
Nurmagomedov. He is the cousin to Khabib Nurmagomedov, the ex-great, and that's who trains him. He recently fought Merab Dvalishvili. Dvalishvili toyed with him and beat him because Nurmagomedov ran out of gas. It was his first championship attempt. And so now that camp has been blistering him and training and preparing him for this fight. And he gets the number 8 ranked bantamweight in Mario Bautista, who is one of the most underrated, overlooked fighters on the roster. He's not loud and vocal. He's quiet and very workmanlike, but he fights out of the lab in Phoenix. He trains with killers. He's been training with much bigger, stronger guys, preparing him for the wrestling that he's going to see. And he's a big, strong guy. He's the taller, larger man in this fight. He opened it like Bautista plus 260. Now you can get him at 400 or so. This price
455. Yeah.
This price is stupid. And so there are a number of ways I'm attacking Bautista on this fight, but I am using him. I think he can win the fight, and I think he might even be able to finish Nurmagomedov, because if it does stay up and Nurmagomedov gets a little desperate to get in on the takedown, he could eat a knee or a counter shot on his way in. I think I know from Volkov that I'm going to get the absolute best effort that dude's ever put out And I feel the exact same way for Mario Bautista. We're going to get his best effort, and that's enough for me, especially at this price.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big change there from 200s up to the high 400s for him coming to that. And then that leads us with the main event here. Tom Aspinall against I'm never
Cyril Gahn.
you could tell you who I'm looking at in this fight, obviously, because I can't remember who his opponent is. What disrespect I have for him there as well. It's Cyril, right? Is that who I'm thinking of? I don't know why my brain's not working.
Cyril Gahn. He's a Frenchman. And what's great about this is France versus England. So you got to love it. Now, this is Gahn's third try at the championship. He's been overwhelmed on the others. But let me just explain to you how this thing's going. Gahn is a kickboxer that is trying rapidly to learn how to keep fights standing and deal with wrestling. And on the other side, you got Aspinall, who's world-class everywhere. Probably the prototypical 2025 modern era heavyweight mixed martial artist. Fast, adroit, nimble, stupid power. He can submit you, snap your shoulder, break your leg. I mean, the dude is terrible. And so when John Jones was active, they gave him an opportunity to move to heavyweight. Remember, John Jones ain't a heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
He's the light heavyweight goat of all goats. But he took a heavyweight fight. Why? Because he could fight Gahn, because Gahn can't spell takedown, okay? And you don't learn wrestling overnight. So now Gahn goes in, he's going to have to fight Aspinall. Gahn's been working on it. He knows what's coming. And none of Aspinall's fights even make the second round. If he touches you, you go down. If he tackles you, he snaps your arm. John Jones sidestepped Aspinall. Why? Because Aspinall's a full-grown heavyweight man. And John Jones ain't. And he's 39. No way Jones was ever fighting Aspinall. Aspinall watched Jones dominate Gahn. The over-under in this fight's 1.5. Mm-hmm. How long is it going to take Aspinall to ground Gahn and finish this fight? That's the only question in this fight. There are some people that believe Gahn can make this thing last into third and fourth round. Boy, I hope that's the case, because I want to see Gahn succeed. I want to see Aspinall tested, but I don't think that's what we're going to see in this fight. The best matchup against Aspinall, I think, is Jailton Almeida, and I don't think he's going to get by Volkov.
Yeah, I mean, the over-under right now, as you said, is 1.5, minus 110 to the over, minus 120 to the under right there as well. So it's just pick which way you think it's going to go and then go from there, I guess, here on this main event, right?
Yeah, I don't have a thought on when.
Yeah.
It's just, why would you play with your food? Why would I go and fight a guy at his best skill, even though that could be my best skill? Yeah. Why would I give him a par level when I can compete with him where he's not on par?
Yeah, so big fight this weekend, Abu Dhabi. So 11 a.m. main card, numbered event, which means I think this is one of 2 pay-per-views left here before we switch to Paramount, and those kind of go away. So I'm getting excited about that coming up. But let's take a quick break, a little 1.5 break, come back, and I don't know, maybe Dale will say something when we start talking NFL here.
Yeah, really.
I know my limits.
Come on back, folks. It's the main event with Uncle Lou. And we're back here. Main event, usually on Fridays. He doesn't join us, usually on Thursdays, but this week, Uncle Lou joins us on Fridays as well. So we'll get this out like we always do, on the YouTube channel. Free YouTube channel is an interview side if people just want to see that. Of course, it's on the regular show as well, and then we put it out separately in the podcast systems. So we appreciate everybody joining us. And usually, Lou, when you join us on Thursdays, we talk a little bit about the Thursday night game there. I liked the Chargers last night. Me and Dale both did. I liked the under last night. I did not factor in how bad the Vikings defense was going to be last night because the Chargers almost hit that point at that point. So that's how this Week 8 starts. There's a bunch of teams on bye, 6, I think, right? 4 of them are over 500 on their schedules. And there's some weak matchups this week coming up, Lou. And you always say, when people look at you weird when you bring it up, that's where you want to put your bet. You have a lot of opportunities for that this week.
That is the understatement of the world. Way to go, Steve, because you're dead right. There are some really ugly porch sitters on this card, let me tell you.
You always phrase it so much better than I do.
He does.
Well, let's, no Cardinals to talk this week out there. Your Bears. Your Bears have won 4 in a row. They're going up against a decimated Ravens with a terrible defense. Let's just start off with that, Lou. Your Bears, and I say your Bears because you grew up and you're a Bears fan when you're a kid. You knew the family, etc. But your Bears, so they keep this win streak running this weekend against the Ravens.
Okay, so let's understand. There's 10, 12 games here. You're going to get 1 or 2 good, strong positions from me and a lot of dancing around. Because the good news is the man has to put a line and a total on every game, but I don't have to make my reputation on every one. So I shoot with a rifle at 1 or 2. So though we're going to talk about every game, don't think because I say that Baltimore is going to completely vomit all over and run Chicago out of the park, that you go bet it that way.
Yes.
But that's what I think, especially if Lamar's back. Even if Lamar isn't back, welcome to the Chicago Bears. Now, I think things are happening for the Bears. I think I like that coach. But what I also think is that by the end of the year, the coach is going to get rid of this quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been saying that all year long. I just started with that one because a lot of people are hyping up the Bears. I imagine, I'll put it this way. Ravens are 6.5-point favorites right now. What I'm curious on, because Lamar started practicing this week, we don't know exactly who's going to play. I'm assuming that line has moved toward the Ravens as Lamar has started practicing this week.
Not at all. The
Really?
look ahead was 6.5.
Really?
It's still 6.5.
Really?
So,
Even,
I think there's a lot of wait and see. I think they're waiting on Lamar, to be quite honest.
What gives you curiosity? What gives you any hope or thought that Baltimore can beat Chicago? Of what you've seen with your own eyes.
It has nothing to do with what I've seen from Baltimore or Chicago. It has to do with what I've seen in Week 7 of the NFL.
Okay.
When the world on San Diego and Indianapolis goes and boat races them.
Right.
So it's simply the everybody theory. The elixir for the Houston offense was the Baltimore defense. So on paper, you'd like to think Chicago going to march all over that Baltimore 26th by DVOA defense. Baltimore comes in off of the bye. And I just think I think there's something left for them. And while there's belief in Chicago, it's not my belief. And so it's just an opinion. Okay. It's not based on any money.
Okay.
Yep. And then you've got, this is an interesting one to me because I double checked this 7 times. I said earlier, the Panthers are 4-3 on the season. Now they haven't been spectacular by any stretch. But obviously 4-3 is a record. It surprises me that the Panthers are. And they got the Bills on coming into this game as well. Bills have a couple bad losses on their schedule, a couple comeback losses. Their Panthers are an up-and-coming team here. What I'm curious on are people – now it's the Bills. I understand that, so maybe not. But are people starting to look at the Panthers in the gambling world coming into these types of games?
No, they've been on the Panthers, riding them
Yeah.
to this 3-3. Now's when the public gets on them, and it's usually triggered by being too late, and that could be what they are.
Yeah.
Carolina, Buffalo. Buffalo comes in off the bye with all kinds of defensive woes, and actually Carolina sets up decent on defense. Here's what's going to happen in this game. Buffalo's going to come in, and their 10th ranked pass offense, which is all they really have. They got Allen and then a bunch of ghosts with a running back. And they're going to attack Carolina's 23rd ranked pass defense. And if they get a lead early, it's going to pressure Carolina and make them predictable and allow for an inept Buffalo defense to try and stay in the game. Meanwhile, Carolina, if the coin flip goes their way, make little mistake, they're taking the ball. Why? Because their seventh ranked rushing offense is going up against not the 30th or the 31st rush defense, but the 32nd in Buffalo.
Wow.
When I see a team that's got the 31st or 32nd ranked rush D, that's a team with no huevos. That's a team with no belly, no guts, no nothing. And so Carolina, if they get the ball, they're going to jam it down Buffalo's throat, try and get a lead, and then they're going to put the pressure on Buffalo. I like Carolina a little in this spot. If you're going to give me all those points, I'm going to make Buffalo show me something. Also, we know that I ain't a big Buffalo fan this year anyway.
Yes.
So I'm going to make them prove it to me on the road against a team that's starting to believe in themselves.
That's the first time I heard that Italian come out in Lou. What is it? No way, I like that.
Well, that's my Hispaniola.
So I'm going to defer to you here, obviously. The one game I want to talk about, there's a couple of them here. Cowboys-Broncos this weekend. So I guess there's two more I'm going to talk about. Then I'll kind of leave it to you. Cowboys-Broncos, going to Broncos. Broncos came back, scored, a cajillion points there in the fourth quarter. 30-something points to beat the Giants last week. Their offense, in my opinion, is atrocious, but they've gotten the job done to a 5-2 record. Cowboys defense can't stop anything, but their offense can put up points from that side here coming into this game this weekend. This is an intriguing one, but Broncos are 3.5-point favorites coming into this game. Over under 50.5. Lou, kind of lead us what we should be looking at here.
Yeah, great game, and I think we have to talk about it. Denver 2-4-1 against the spread, really kind of underassuming. However, we got to realize they got the 8th ranked DVOA defense. Dallas 6th on offense. They're rushing decent, 8th passing. I think those have a tendency to neutralize one another. Quite honestly, I think Denver's defense in the altitude is going to be ready for this Dallas onslaught. The mismatch occurs when you get a decent Denver offense that's kind of underachieved this year. Receivers are still good. The running backs are fine. The kid that they got from the Chargers, Dobbins, is 5th, 6th rushing in the league. But the quarterback mix is having a little bit of a sophomore thing. Mm-hmm. I have no problem believing that he's going to eventually come out of that. I love the coach. I like the team. I like what they did last year. I like them this week against the Cowboys. And I'll say this, I think they're in a perfect buy low spot for AFC futures right now because everybody's looking at the teams. Oh, it's Kansas City. Well, sure, Kansas City looks good right now. But look, what are these teams going to look like in 7 weeks? And I got Denver as going this way, everybody. And I'm not shy to say it. I said it in the panel up in Las Vegas. I'm very bullish on Denver. Now, after getting done saying all that, I've used Denver as the second half of a handful of teasers this week, 7 point. So I went from giving 3.5 points to the Cowboys. Now I'm getting 3.5 points with the Cowboys, and that's how I'm approaching that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that game, the other big game, Packers-Steelers this weekend. Well, the 4-1-1 Packers against Aaron Rodgers playing his old team. Now it's in Pittsburgh. 4-2. This is a Sunday Night Football matchup. I've heard Aaron Rodgers talk this week about how he's going to retire a Packer, talked about his time there in Packerland. He sounds like a man that's getting ready to retire here after this season. And then Jordan Love and the Packers coming off of a tougher game against Arizona last week. Micah Parsons, I'm assuming, isn't going to be single teamed going into this game against the Steelers here this weekend. And this is going to be a good Sunday night matchup here. Right now, Packers are 3-point favorites on the road in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I like the Pack. Took a money line and took a money line parlay with Atlanta. Atlanta on the money line, Packers on the money line. The Atlanta should be the easier leg, minus 400 at home on a fast track against Tom, Dick, and Harry, for crying out loud.
The Dolphins.
That goes into the Green Bay game where I don't have to give points. But this isn't the typical Pittsburgh team that we all think. There's no defense here. In fact, what doesn't belong? 9th ranked Green Bay offense, 6th ranked Green Bay defense, 10th ranked Pittsburgh offense, 21st ranked Pittsburgh defense, and they stopped the run 24th. Pittsburgh's got defensive problems. Green Bay's going to control the ball. We're going to see the young man, Jacobs, the running back. He's going to be the star of the game because Green Bay is going to keep the ball, score first, and keep Rodgers off the field. I like Green Bay here. That said, I sound real confident, but I also took Green Bay on the money line because I don't like giving points, especially away.
It's
and
interesting.
Pittsburgh's off a 10-day layoff from a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, you usually hear Baltimore, Pittsburgh, first thing you think about is defense. And this year, everything's been turned completely upside down for both those teams.
Yeah, and I wonder why those teams would do that. I get exasperated at Steve when he second guesses coaches all the time. Well, I do. We all do it. How does Houston go into this season with that offensive line? It's killed their season.
Yeah.
How does Pittsburgh allow this kind of a defense? They just got rid of Pickens. You'd think, no, they bring in another diva wide receiver that's got a year left anyway. So there's questions everywhere you look. But make no mistake about it, as we see these teams spending more time with their offense, it's because that's what the league's turning to. This is going to be 7-on-7 eventually, and you got to have your skill people, and you're going to spend your money over there. In my opinion, without question, the top athlete in the history of humankind, the top 0.00%, the best athlete is today's NFL cornerback. They can't touch these athletes that are wide receivers. They're standing there within a foot of them at all times. Today's NFL cornerback, the greatest athlete God ever made.
That's hard. That's hard to argue because, it seems like every year they add another rule on defense to make it easier to score points.
That's where it's going. This is like their NFL's already into pro flag football.
Yeah.
The writing's on the wall. Uncle Lou you take the under with Uncle Lou in the NFL.
Well, the thing is, and we were talking about I talked about this with some buddies earlier this week. The fact that I know you're the 1%. You would love to probably see a 1-0 pitchers duel in baseball. You'd like to see a 9-7 defensive battle in football. But the other 95% of people, they want to see scoring. And what's the other? They're not catering to the Lou's, the Dales, and the Steves of the world. They're catering to the 95%. Yep.
Money.
Yep.
You go where the money is, and so you're going to give them what you want to make more money. I know I'm not going to stop at the rocks rolling down the hill, and here's little Lou the ant going to stand in front of it now. I'm just going to get out of the way.
We got last one for me. We got a couple games here. The Colts-Titans game. That's a 14.5 favorite to the Colts right now. Commanders-Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Jalen is probably out. Daniels for the Commanders. That's a 12.5 point spread on that. Anything you like to run the other way? Those are large point spreads in the NFL side of things. What are your thoughts on those large point spreads?
My thoughts are I'm running to you. You see the movie where the two lovers are on the beach and they're running to each other like this because they can't wait to embrace. I can't wait to take the Washington in 12, and I'm going to take the Titans but I'm going to wait till the Titans gets up to, what is it? It's 15.5 already.
At 14.5, I
right?
think on DraftKings right now. is
Yeah,
what
no,
it's on.
listen, we don't just shop one place. You
Yes,
shop
I know.
everywhere.
Oh, no, I'm just telling
So
everybody.
there's-
Yeah,
You're right. They're 14.5 everywhere with pressure on it, minus 15.
That's what I
Circa
saw.
has minus 15.5. This is one where I'm going to be patient and wait and see how high it goes. But 15.5 or 14.5 is good enough for me. Division hatred. Again, this is the one you go into the water cooler with and say, hey guys, I think Tennessee's got a good shot this week. They'll laugh you out of the room. And you got to have some huevos to do it. But I'm going to do it.
Well, you mean take them? You don't expect them. You're not saying they're going to win. You're saying just take them with the giant point spread.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, I got one question for you. We're about halfway through the season. Is Indianapolis the most surprising team this year in the league to you? Are you gonna tell me you saw back in August Danny Dimes morphing from Danny Dimes with the Giants to Peyton Manning with the Colts?
You know, I was of all the teams, Indy was one that I was really undecided on. But it didn't have to do with quarterback or anything of the things that. Listen, here's what's happened in Indy. The quarterback needed the right coach. Coach needed the right quarterback. They got it. Oh, what does the coach have? Best offensive line in football, top running back in the NFL, really good receivers, and a defense I didn't see. And so in the offseason, I didn't see all that. No, what I saw was how's this team, who I believe is pretty solid, going to respond to the loss of the owner? Well, looks to me like they're responding pretty well. I'm surely a believer. They have a solid offensive line. They got horses. I mean, is Indy, number one offense, first rushing, second passing, defense, 18th against the rush, 12th against the pass. They're balanced. They believe they got a good quarterback with a coach that seems to have symmetry with him.
Yep.
I'm all about them. And all they got to do in this division hatred game is win 9-7, and they put W on the schedule. It ain't going to be I don't think it's going to be the blowout we're expecting.
If you want to enjoy your Sunday afternoon, you could just put the Colts game on and just watch their left guard. Just watch their left guard. He's the closest thing to Larry Allen that I've ever seen.
I just can't remember his name right now.
Nelson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Wait. Is that true? He's the closest thing to Larry Allen?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
says.
he kills people.
Do you know what kind of a compliment?
Yeah.
that
Oh,
is?
yeah. If you watch him a little bit,
Larry Allen's Deacon Jones era.
Yeah.
I mean, not era, but Deacon Jones air.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only a couple of those.
no, Quentin Nelson is he's not Larry Allen, but he's the closest thing I've seen.
Oh, he road grades
telling
people.
you,
Yeah.
And every week, Indianapolis just keeps believing more and more. Somebody going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I don't think Jacksonville is the team I thought they were. And coming into this season, they might be a tier down team from what I thought they were. But they have the bye week this week, so we'll have to see. Lou, appreciate you coming in on the Friday with us. Next week, just as a programming note, you're going to join us next Friday as well because might not be here unless something's changed.
Great, but when you need Friday works good. When
Well,
you need me, I'm here.
Yeah, I'll confirm it with you. I got a little house thing I told everybody about. I might be doing a show from jail, so that's what we're gonna do. I told everybody if I'm in jail, the listeners said do a jail show. So we'll see what happens.
I hope you're not.
No, I won't be. That's the only reason I'm joking about it is because there's no chance that's going to happen. But Lou, I appreciate it.
I'll send Dale down to give you best wishes.
We'll see you next week, and we'll confirm all that when I get the confirmation on that early part of next week. But have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Oh, really quick. Robert says, can't wait for Uncle Lou's SmackDown picks. Who do you got tonight, Lou? And also, tips on remodeling. What are your remodeling tips you got for everybody? Because I think everybody's enjoying them.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Just
don't
don't do it. And oh, by the way, Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, I was going to ask you about the World Series. Yeah, you like? All right, I picked the Blue Jays too.
I took Tom Aspinall and I parlayed him to the series for Toronto at plus 180, and that turns that plus 180 into plus 261.
Ooh.
So we get Aspinall in. Now I got an enhanced price on Toronto, and I hope Toronto wins the World Series. But I'm not a big Dodger fan.
Robert also says unique look. That's how you describe the that one fighter there in the UFC. He goes, Gamblu is such a nice dude.
Well, I mean, we're in a public arena, and I'm not Prince Charming myself. Who am I to say we're all the same in the eyes of the big boy.
Yeah.
So who am I to say who's pretty and who's not? I tried to be as gentle as
You
possible.
danced around it like a good Omaha kid.
Thank you very much.
Lou, we'll see you later. Go do your About Business podcast for those that get that and invest with you. It's coming up here shortly. From that, enjoy your UFC weekend, and we'll see you next week, Lou.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
All right, have a great one. For everybody else, Braxton wanted to know and couldn't wait to hear his views on those gambling rates and everything, so brought that up at the beginning as well. Braxton texted that in yesterday, actually, from that side. And, I mean, this is the thing that people don't understand. People that are on the up and up in the gambling world hate cheaters. Hate them because it affects their view, how people view them. It affects the integrity of it and that stuff. And Lou's definitely one of those guys. And that's why the books and everybody will turn you in if they see that stuff happening out there. So, Dale, you got a big weekend?
Actually, very slow. Got a big football game tonight. Brophy at Liberty.
That's what I was going to say. You're at a big one.
Hopefully, it's a good game. Brophy's shown they can play with anybody. They can also lose to
Up
anybody.
and but you're gonna hobnob there with Fitz over there. You're gonna congratulate him for being advanced to the 52 member Hall of Fame now. He advanced to that level.
I think that he doesn't have to worry until the finals.
That's what I was saying yesterday. He's better be a finalist. In terms of wide receivers, I said this yesterday. He better be the one wide receiver that makes it to the final if nobody else does for him. But go hobnob with those guys. Vanden Bosch,
Yeah, there's a lot of big names on that Brophy team.
Dale's gonna be like, I gotta go work, guys. Leave me alone, guys. I gotta go work over here. That's gonna be a fantastic game there. Of course, SCA playing over there in the Avenues. Arizona Lutheran Academy.
Yep.
See how that goes. SCA will get a bye regardless. ALA's kind of on that cusp a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that game. I'll be over at SmackDown. Anybody going to that? Let me know. Reach out to me. Love to see you. Run into you.
No, you
there at
don't.
the Mullet.
You don't like people, Steve.
You gotta dance around with me and stuff when guys come out.
All right,
And everything. And we got to send pictures to Dale and videos to Dale all the time during the event while he's doing his football game.
Steve's dancing.
Queen Creek's at Desert Vista tonight for their homecoming. Desert Ridge has Highland at home last night as well, just for the teams that we follow. And everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. McCollum on Business coming up. Pit Stop, Look Ahead show. This time next week, we'll be talking about a championship 4 here in Phoenix for NASCAR. Championship week next week, Dale. Go to NASCAR with me next weekend?
Goodbye.
See you Monday, everybody.